It is not actually September yet. Has Lime gone mad, I hear you asking yourselves? Nope, we're gonna do an extra channel update here, ladies and gentlemen, because quite a few of you have been asking lots of questions lately. As some of you noticed, the channel has been a little bit under attack lately. I haven't wanted to say much about it because it's been a development situation, but now it's kind of all sorted out, so I'd like to give you guys the full story, but I also feel like a more thorough explanation is needed as to what I allow and don't allow in my comment section, and I'll be answering a lot of the questions and defenses that have come up later in the video. Now, before I get going, let me say this. People make mistakes. Even really bad ones. And yes, sometimes someone acts like an asshole and it makes you angry and so on, but there are appropriate ways to deal with things, and I really don't want anyone to abuse anyone or try to retaliate or anything like that. It's all cool. Anyway, rewind to a bit more than a week ago when I got a comment from a viewer saying that a channel I'd never heard about, Zimek TM, had stolen one of my videos. The channel had 70,000 subscribers and it turned out to be a Polish channel by the looks of things aimed at younger kids, so it's not really a surprise that I wasn't aware of it. Anyway, I checked out the video in question. Zimek has a series called Craft News detailing news in the Minecraft community, and a part of the video was about the new snapshot at that point, and just like the comment had noted, the video for that section was entirely made up of my snapshot video, except for the blinking ad link on top of it. We're talking like half of the video is my stuff here, not just a quick glimpse. There's also no mention of me or my channel at all either, so basically he just claimed this video as his own and made money off of it. Decidedly not cool in my book. Now, I don't have access to the new duplication reporting system or to Content ID on YouTube. The only thing I can do is report copyright to YouTube directly, which is a first for me. I've never had to do this before. I even got the timestamps wrong because I didn't read the submit form closely enough. Anyway, after some clarifications, YouTube takes the video down, end of story, I thought. But no, not really. If you know how YouTube works, you'll know that what happens if you infringe copyright is you get a strike. 3 such strikes and your channel gets suspended. I later got a Facebook message from Zimek where he basically says that if I retract my claim, he will not make a video making a fuss about it. He even admits that he knows it was wrong and that this is rude, but he sees no other way, I assume because he wants the strike removed from his channel. Now, those of you who follow me for a long time know that I have an unusually large amount of patience and calm, but I also don't back down to people who try to abuse or intimidate me. So at this point my options are to do nothing, which upholds my copyright, or to let this guy get away with making money off of my stuff in order to avoid a confrontation. If you ever want to trigger me, trying to intimidate me away from my rights might be a great way. So now you know. So, I don't. I told him the decent thing to do would be to admit to your viewers what you did and where you got your stuff from without trying to bargain for it. And then I looked closer and found more. Much more. It wasn't a single video, it was like half of his series. 8 of his different news videos containing stuff from 9 of my snapshot videos. Now from my point of view, I just don't want someone using my content to make money. That's all I really care about. So I did all the work of pinpointing the exact timestamps and sent it all off to YouTube as well. He then claimed something like the right to quote, which is essentially a Polish law equivalent for fair use. Well, it's blatantly clear that that doesn't apply when using large chunks of video without even attributing your source, so the desperation is pretty clear at this point. And then YouTube took down the rest of the videos as well. I assume that they issued 7 more strikes or something, which by the looks of things put his channel into some form of if these strikes remain you get suspended state, waiting for appeals or something. Now his reaction to this was to start threatening me with angry messages saying both that I would pay dearly and that he would destroy my channel. This apparently meant posting community posts and a new video on his channel, urging his viewers into war against my channel, calling on them to spam and report my channel for fraud. He even openly admitted in the post that this was cheating the system, but he said he had no other options. Now, let's pause the storytelling here for a moment and offer some commentary. First of all, that's not how YouTube works. Reporting a channel is not a weapon that will somehow apply magical damage if you get enough people to press a button. And secondly, you did something wrong. You took a shortcut, you thought nothing would come of it, and now the consequences caught up with you. What do you do in this situation? Well, let me tell you, dear viewers, what the most productive way is. You apologize. You go to the person that you did something wrong against and you tell them you know that you did something wrong, that you're sorry, and you ask if there's something you can do to make up for it in order to lessen the consequences. What you don't do, dear viewers, is try to act all mafia boss warlord and muster a raging horde of 9-year-old kids who will harass the person you already did something wrong towards in the hope that if you just make their lives miserable enough, they'll let you get away with the thing that you did wrong first. Anyway, like I mentioned, his viewers are to a high degree young kids who get incredibly triggered, and my comment section get flooded with angry Polish messages with all kinds of inventive swearing, and a few English comments with a lot of swearing in them too, and then a few actually reasonable comments. Oh yeah, and a lot of dislikes. And then he comes to me on Facebook and basically asks if I had enough to yield now. So let's pause for a moment again and do a basic lesson on how YouTube works. YouTube's search algorithms have over the years been optimized to provide clickbaity drama to the people, as I'm sure you all have noticed. What that means is that they like to serve up controversial content. You know, the kind with lots of both likes and dislikes. My snapshot videos already get likes, and now suddenly they started getting dislikes too. And you know, if you're gonna go and leave an angry comment or a dislike on a video, you have to actually click on the video, which means that the video plays and yeah. And then also a bunch of the viewers from his channel now found out about my channel and stopped to think, hey, this stuff is actually pretty good. So the end result of this hate campaign is I get to spend quite a chunk of extra time moderating my comment section, but also every angry dislike or comment is an extra view on my video and lots of new people are subscribing, so welcome to all of you to my channel. I hope something good comes of all of this. Anyway, I end up writing a long message to him explaining all of this. He wants to negotiate. I tell him I'm not negotiating with someone as long as they have a live video inciting harassment on me. And at this point he still thinks that he can somehow force me to negotiate. And this stalemate holds for a few days. And then two things happen right after one another. The first thing is he counterclaims the copyright claims. Now, if you don't run a YouTube channel, you probably don't know exactly what this is, but let me tell you, this is an incredibly serious thing to do. It's a legal action which tells YouTube, I'm so certain that this claim is false that I'm willing to go to court over it. And it also tells me, as the copyright owner, you now have to sue in order to keep the claims. So basically, YouTube now tells me, go prepare to hand in court documents to sue this guy and tell us when you're done. And then the second thing happens, which is that he, out of the blue, apologizes. So at this point, this has gone from annoying to a potentially massive amount of extra work for me, and I will not back down to a harasser. I'm also not in any way interested in wasting a lot of time and effort to get this thing through court, even though the outcome is pretty damn obvious. So I basically sent him a threat of legal action, offering a settlement of non-negotiable terms to take it or leave it within 24 hours. Which involves him taking down all the videos with my content, removing all the stuff that is inciting his viewers to harass me, and posting a public apology. And at this point he's finally understood how much crap he's gotten himself into, and that the way out of this is not to be angry and abusive, but to apologize and cooperate. And then I also think that some family member may have had a word with him at this point, but whatever. I appreciate when people are reasonable, and like I said before, all I want is for it to be clear that it's not okay to take my content without permission, and it's especially not okay to make money from it. And that's the end of that, really. The videos are gone, the strikes have been lifted, so his channel is safe for those of you who are worried. We could have gotten to this point a lot quicker with a lot less pain, but at least we arrived. And again, let me emphasize, people make mistakes and he did make up for it in the end. I don't want anyone to harass him or try to retaliate in any way. Now, lots of you from Jimek's channel posting in my comments have questioned my behavior in very specific ways, and I do want to answer some of these questions. Why did you delete his channel? He worked hard for 3 years on it. The simple answer is I didn't. I reported my copyright to YouTube and they took his channel down because he broke their rules too many times. I don't have the power to control someone else's channel, regardless of what content they took. All I can say to YouTube, hey, this thing here is mine, and he's not allowed to use it. The consequences of breaking YouTube's rules are not my problem nor in my control, and asking me to give away my content for free to someone else to make money off of it just because the consequences for the person who did it would be dire is not fair. Second most common question, why did you wait so long before reporting? You could have done it after the first video, but you waited so you could destroy his channel. Now, I reported it as soon as I found out about it. There's no magical way that YouTube tells me he used my content without permission. There are some new duplication tools, but they're only available to bigger channels. I think you have to have like 100,000 subs or something for that. So the simple answer is, he just managed to get away with it for that long. Now, as for the fact that I did it so that I could destroy his channel, I don't care about his channel. I certainly never did anything out of spite to harm it. I care about my content and my rights. This one isn't so much a question as a threat. Revoke your claims or we will delete your channel by reporting it. Now again, that's not how reporting works. You have to actually break YouTube's rules in order for a report to actually do anything. He just used a bit of it, only a small part of his video was your video. Well, as for the first part of that, he used many minutes of a video, which he wasn't allowed to use. And it doesn't really matter how long his video was, what matters was he used a bunch of my video. Many minutes of it, in fact. And then there's the fascinating claim that he did it to save time, he didn't have time to record Minecraft. And to that I can only say that's too bad. Like, he could either make time for it, like I do, or ask someone who does make the content for a license to use that content. And on the same vein, he only made a Polish version, which is, admirable I guess, but you still can't do it without permission. I will also mention that there are ways to contribute translated subtitles to this channel if you really want to. So if you want to make my content more readily available to people who don't speak English, consider contributing translated subtitles to videos and I will publish them on this channel. There are tools inside of YouTube to do this. Next thing, why don't you strike all other channels that play Minecraft? Which is again a total misunderstanding of what the problem is. The strikes have nothing to do with the game. It's using my video content that's the problem. And finally, the claim that because I work for Mojang, I should be happy that the game gets more publicity. Well, yes, but it's not like Minecraft needs more publicity. And yes, I do work for Mojang, but I work for Mojang to develop Minecraft. I don't work for Mojang to make videos, and this channel has nothing to do with Mojang. It's my own thing, it's something I do in my spare time, and it's something I've done since before I started working for Mojang. Alright, so now that we're through that, I figured I'd spend some time talking about how I manage my comment section. None of these rules are new, but explaining them haven't really been necessary before. Anyway, some ground rules. My comment section are English language. Comments in other languages get removed. I want to maintain one community, and that means people need to be able to understand each other. Threats and abuse get reported and blocked immediately. And in addition to that, the only thing I ask is that you're decent to each other. If you're going to be flinging curses and insults, that's not allowed, regardless of whose back you're holding or who it's aimed at. I appreciate seeing several sides of a conversation or even disputes, but do it without calling each other names or swearing at each other. And if your only contribution to the channel is breaking a rule, then you will be blocked for commenting immediately. Now this means that my block list has grown dramatically over the last week, but that also means I don't have to manage that many comments because most of the crap gets hidden automatically. That said, I'm always willing to give people a second chance, so if you think you've been blocked but you're ready to contribute to the community in a positive way, send me a message on Twitter or an email or whatever and we'll deal with it. And at the end of all of that, I'd like to note that the tutorials and stuff that I've mentioned before are still coming, but lots of unexpected crap, both this stuff with the channel and personal stuff in my life had delayed a lot of my plans. Stuff is still coming though, don't you worry. And for the 3 of you who listened all the way to the end here, thanks. And thank you for all of your support. This is slicedlime signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.